Oh, he jumped over there. Oh, at 4. Oh, okay. I thought 5:30.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Kansas City. Let me invite everyone to come out and be seated. We're going to begin the program here in 5 minutes. We're so delighted to have everyone here today and look forward to a historic day together. We'll be with you momentarily. Day to celebrate this historic occasion, and on behalf of CPKC, I want to thank all of our elected officials, all of our friends, our guests for being here. This is a tremendous day to share with so many friends. As we do in the railroad industry, we're going to begin our morning with a safety briefing, and I would like to call forward our Vice President of Operations, Eastern U.S. Region, Tim Livingston, for a safety briefing. Tim?
Thank you, Warren. With every meeting, every job, every start on the railroads, it starts with safety briefing, and that is the foundation of the CPKC culture. So I'll go through what we typically go through as part of a safety briefing in any meeting that we have across the railroad. We are at 4747 Front Street, a very historical site, very historical address for you to remember in the event that you have to call 911. The hospital that is closest to this location is North Kansas City Hospital. It's about 3 miles away, very close, and it's about a 7-minute drive. We would ask that if you have a medical condition that you're not comfortable with sharing with anyone from on your left or your right, if you would please write that down and put that in your right pocket or a purse if you're carrying that, so first responders can understand how they can help you in the event that there is an incident. There's a lot of head count here today. Typically we would tally that, but if you could look to your left and to your right, if for some reason we have to evacuate this site and go somewhere else, that you could look to your left and right and understand who those individuals are. CPR, I'm sure we have quite a few CPR people here. If you would raise your hand right now, and those around you, can I look to you for assistance. We do have AED, first aid, and oxygen just inside the tent here to the right, as well as a fire extinguisher in the event that we need that. I will be responsible for 911. We also have plenty of security, CP and KCS police officers on site here to support us with that. Weather looks great today. 80 degrees is the plan. 8-mile-an-hour winds, so we should not have to take cover. But in the event that we have to take cover for some reason, the first location will be this tent. If we need more cover, we will exit here, take a left across the rail tracks, and go into the yard office here just past us. Unfortunately, we discuss active shooter situations on the railroad, and we run, hide, or fight. So if we can run and get away from it, that's what we'll do first. Otherwise, we'll need to hide. Those will be the muster points, and then we'll fight next, which we have plenty of people here to fight for us. One last thing I'd like to address: rail conditions, tie conditions, ballast, slip, trip, and fall prevention is a big topic in the rail industry, so I'll cover that off here. So we do have some wires. They've done a great job covering those up. On the railroad, we say do not put your feet where your eyes have not been, so please look where you're walking. There are no handrails on this podium here, so please be careful. We can assist if needed for those speakers. And then as we go to the Golden Spike, where Mr. Krill will be over here with a group of individuals. If you do have high heels and you're not comfortable walking up this ballast edge here, we have 3 steps to this side of the stage here. For those of you that will be more comfortable walking up, stepping into the gauge of the track here and walking across the ties to get to that spot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim, and again, good morning. And on behalf of the company, let me welcome everybody again. Welcome to this historic event. I know I speak for all of us at CPKC when I say we're thrilled you joined us for this day. We're honored to have several public officials joining us, including 6 who will be introduced in a moment. But let me also recognize some additional public leaders and elected officials who've joined us today. I would ask that you stand as I introduce you, but if the audience would please hold its applause and recognize all of them as a group after they've been introduced. Let me begin by introducing Missouri Lieutenant Governor Mike Keogh, Jackson County Executive and Royals baseball great Frank White. I don't see that he's joined us, but Senator Greg Razor was to join us. He represents the district we're in today. State Representative Ingrid Burnett. Ingrid, a good friend of Kansas City. Representative Emily Weber. I didn't see her come in. State Representative Richard Brown. State Representative Kemp Strickler. And State Representative Chris Lonsdale. Councilman Lee Barnes, City of Kansas City, Missouri. Councilman Kevin O'Neill, Kansas City of Missouri. My good friend, MoDOT Director Patrick McKenna. Consul General Aaron Annabelle. Thank you. Consul General Soleil Padilla Mayar, State of Mexico. Senior Representative to the United States, James Rahita. James. And the Director of Border Affairs for the Foreign Ministry of the country of Mexico, Maestro Pablo Galvez Uturbe. Let's give them all a big hand. Thank you all for coming. Now it's my distinct pleasure to get us started today by introducing the first President and CEO of the new CPKC, Keith Creel. A military veteran who served as a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army, Keith's railroad journey began in 1992 as an intermodal ramp manager at Burlington Northern Railway in Birmingham, Alabama. He joined CP as President and Chief Operating Officer in 2013 before becoming the 17th President and Chief Executive Officer of Canadian Pacific in 2017. Under his leadership, Canadian Pacific achieved industry-leading safety performance and operating results that has transformed CP and positioned the company to make the history that we celebrate here today. It is my great honor and privilege to ask you to join us in welcoming the President and CEO of CPKC, Keith Creel.
Wow. You know, it's a bit surreal. I just had a town hall earlier this morning, and any of you that know me, when I get behind a microphone, a lot of times I have no problem talking. But maybe the gravity of all the emotions and the battle and the journey, not just the last 3 years, but my entire life, coming to this podium with the honor and the responsibility that it holds, maybe it's catching up to me. Because I tell you, it was a bit overwhelming. So I've made some notes. Normally I don't like to speak from notes. I'll do my best not to. I promise I'll stay with them. I'm going to speak from the heart, and I'm going to speak to each of you in a way that this day warrants and represents. Today's history. It's absolutely a historic day. History will show that it's a milestone. Transformative, I think that's a word that Pat's used many times in our discussions. Milestone, certainly. This rail network that we're creating, this rail industry, that all of our lives, the way we enjoy our lives and the commerce that moves on the rail network depends upon, is becoming greater today. For perspective, I think it's important that you understand the gravity of this, well beyond any of us. And I'm going to take you back to a day in 1869. May 10th of 1869, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Leland Stanford at a place called Promontory Summit, which is in Utah, pounded the last spike that connected, the golden spike that connected the first transcontinental U.S. rail network. Not to be outdone, we have a little bit of history in this. Canadian Pacific in 1885, November of 1885, at a place called Craigellachie, BC, British Columbia. Mr. Donald Smith drove what's become known as the last spike. completing the first transcontinental Canadian railway, and also creating the country as we know it today. Combining British Columbia with Canada, creating Canada as we know it and still enjoy it today. Now today, here we are 140 years later, 142 years later. We'll be driving the final spike. And when I say final spike, I believe this network will create the stabilizing network for the entire North American industry when it comes to rail networks. Certainly not in my lifetime, and forever's a long time. But I believe this is going to be the first and only ever transcontinental railway that connects three great nations of Canada, U.S., and Mexico. So how did we get here today? I can tell you it's been a journey. If I just think about the last 3 years, I can attest it was not easy. Today actually marks completion of a 2-year specific journey that started well before we announced our intentions to merge in 2021. There's been no shortage of challenges, breakups, makeups, detractors, naysayers, objectors in our pursuit of what I believe to be the perfect rail network combination. That said, we never lost our conviction. We remain committed to this combination because we believed it to be the right one for our employees, for our customers, for all stakeholders, and for the North American economy. So that said, let me start by expressing my gratitude. And there's quite a few people here that I owe a debt of gratitude, many of which are with us this morning. And first, my heartfelt thank goes to my family. My wife Ginger, my son Tanner, my daughter Caitlin. You've not only endured this journey, you've endured 31 years of sacrifice that led us on the path that brought us to Kansas City today. So I thank you for the sacrifices, for the love, for the commitment, and for God's grace and strength that's allowed us as a family to weather these storms. And I thank Him for blessing me in my life's journey with each of you. Special thanks to the merger team. You cannot imagine, nor would they have imagined, or I would have imagined, the countless hours, the midnight oil that was burned, the weekends that were lost, the holidays that were sacrificed, progressing this merger application over the last 2 years. So special thanks to each of those members of both companies, internal, external partners as well, which are just as critically important, and also to your families for the many sacrifices that you had to make. Thanks to the CP and the KCS board members. You supported our vision, you trusted our judgment, and you worked with us hard to make this day a reality. And then over 1,000 officers in both companies, again, that have worked in processing that merger application to get us to this day so we can begin to successfully integrate. And then also thanks to every CP, KCS, KCSM employee, past, present, and in the future, for your dedication and the tireless work that you have committed to create these two world-class railroads that we're combining today. Thanks to the hundreds of customers, the elected officials, shareholders, stakeholders who supported our pursuit. And finally, I want to thank the regulators. Yes, I'm thanking the regulators, who executed one of, and I would argue, the most thorough and diligent merger review processes in the railroading history, where they allowed time and space for all voices to be heard, and most importantly, they allowed the truth to be heard and understood, which is ultimately what led to their approving the merger. Thank you for that. Thank you for your trust, your confidence in the potential of our facts. It's not taken lightly. We will not let you down. And finally, I want to thank Pat. You know, Pat, for your service, your leadership, your vision, your courage, your friendship, and your trust, allowing us the honor of bringing these two companies together to join with yours. You know, since the very beginning when I met with Pat, that first meeting we had here at downtown Kansas City over lunch, when I talked about the vision of this and the possibility of this, you know, Pat had the first thing he said to me. He said, "Keith, if KCS is going to participate in something like this, it has to be transformation. It has to create value for our dedicated railroaders. It has to create value for our customers and the communities we serve. Understand? Otherwise, we're not interested." And I said, "Pat, I believe we can do that. I believe with every bit of inch of person that I am that we could do that." And throughout that process, Pat, you've stayed true to that. I can tell you that man, Pat Ottensmeyer, loves KCS, what it stands for, the employees that work here, the same way I do Canadian Pacific. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Pat. I did coming into this, and it's only grown. And I'm honored, Pat, that you've agreed to work with me as an advisor for the balance of this year. You didn't have to do that, but again, it shows a reflection of your commitment to this company, to the legacy you've created, to the hard work that you poured into it, and making sure that we get this right when we go into transition. You're always going to be an important part of the CPKC family, so thank you for that. All right, so that said, let me talk about how we're going to write the next chapter of this great railroading city's history with combining our company's remarkable railroad stories. And I can tell you it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We're going to achieve together as one network what these two railroads can never achieve apart. And there's no doubt in my mind that the results are going to be transformational of epic proportions in our industry. Both railroads have long, storied, important histories. Canadian Pacific was founded in 1881. We ran east-west, physically, as I said, to unite a country and the commerce across the country. Kansas City Southern, founded in 1887, just a few years later, to run north-south. They grew to create new routes carrying trade between Middle America to the south, which ultimately expanded into Mexico. And we've met here, where we stand today in this joint agency for over the last 8 decades, partnering and working together on an interline basis. CP went north, KCS went south. Well, today and forevermore, we go north-south, east coast, west coast, Gulf Coast, Mexican coast. What we're creating is truly, truly exceptional. And I can tell you the way we're going to run the railway with these networks, creating these 3 nations the same way we got here today. With humility, with hard work, with respect, with an entrepreneurial spirit, and with a hunger to achieve success. Achieve success for our families, achieve success for our customers, achieve success for the communities we operate in and through the North American economies. We'll maintain that humility and we'll do this. We're going to maintain an approach creating truly unique value in this industry. What drives that value are jobs. This combination is about jobs and it's about growth. It's about jobs here in Kansas City, home to our U.S. headquarters, which is going to be at the heart of this transformational network. It's about opportunities for our railroaders and their families to grow and create value for their families. It's about options for our customers so that they too can grow and reach new markets. Growth defines this combination. New markets, new competitive options, new long-haul single-line service, never possible before without this network. I'll give you one for instance to get you a little bit excited. It certainly excites our team. We came together with KCS probably about a year ago. We need to prove the concept. We've talked about this transcontinental railroad. What can we do to create a product that will truly move the needle? So on an interline basis, we launched a train from Chicago, going to Laredo, and into Mexico. We ran that train effectively at unparalleled transit times that a truck can't compete with, and even a railroad with a 200-mile shorter route to Laredo can't compete with out of Chicago. That's the power of this single line extended length network. We actually ran that train from Chicago to the border in less than 70 hours. The next best standard with the Union Pacific is over 90 hours. That's a material difference in transit time. You integrate into the simplicity and the velocity you create transitioning through that border over the bridge, which is soon becoming 2 bridges. You create an unparalleled service product that effectively will get us from Chicago to Interpuerto at the terminal just south of St. Louis Potosí, which is deep in the heart of Mexico, literally in under 100 hours. A truck cannot do that. Oh, this railway will be able to do that. That's going to unlock the potential just as a start. And we're not going to wait. I'm a throttle 8 railroader. I believe in working hard and I believe in moving fast. So the work that we've done, we've announced, and we're going to let our customers know effective, I think, middle of May. So they asked me for 3 or 4 weeks to get all of our operating systems and metrics and all that aligned. We're going to launch train 181 and train 180. That's the train pair. It's going to offer that service less than 100 hours from Chicago to Interpuerto and from Interpuerto back to Chicago. And I guarantee you we've got some exciting announcements. There are a tremendous amount of interest from customers that we can't yet talk about. We'll soon be talking about that will be the base load of business for that train. And as we build it, it will grow. The other powerful piece of this is this combination is about sustainability. Think of the tens of thousands of trucks that we'll be able to take off the highway and put them on the railway. Think about the tons of greenhouse gas emissions that will be saved and the benefit to the environment. Millions of tons over the future years to come enabled by this transaction. The combination also, competition and investment. The money that we'll be able to invest into these networks to unlock this latent capacity to create this network will pay for itself, provide capacity for today's business as well as tomorrow's growth at a time that it's ever been needed more. We're going to create a new safety standard as well in this landscape. You think about safety. Safety has been in the paper way too much when it comes to the rail industry as of late. And I can tell you safety is something that we pride ourselves both at CP and at KCS. And it will be foundational as we go forward. CP has enjoyed, we've earned, through our investment in people, process, and technology, the best safety record in the industry for the last 17 years. KCS committed the same way. We bring these two companies together with the power of these railroaders. We will create a new safety standard in the North American rail industry. We will determine and we will define what good looks like by our performance. Next thing, when it comes to efficiency, we're going to run an efficient railroad, but I can tell you, running an efficient railroad does not mean you compromise safety. If you compromise safety, anybody that knows anything about running a railroad, you don't move a lot of assets when you have trains derailed. You don't move a lot of assets and trains when you have employees injured. We have to maintain our investment in our physical assets and our employees to make sure that we protect our ability to run safely in this railroad. This CP story is history. It's going to be unique. We've got unique opportunities. We've got something another railroad can match, and I'm convinced that history is going to reflect well that we've done that. We're celebrating today, then we're going to get to work. We're going to get to work creating all these benefits that we've committed to. We've got the best railroaders combining three great nations. We're primed and we're ready for the challenges that lie ahead. And I'll say this industry needs a success story right now. I guarantee you CPKC is going to be that success story. In my 31 years of railroading, I've never been more engaged, I've never been more excited about the opportunities that lie ahead, or convinced that we have the team to do that and more. I'm deeply grateful for this opportunity. I'm humbled and I'm blessed to serve in this capacity. I will not take that for granted. We're going to deliver on our commitments. PSR is doing what you say you're going to do, and we're going to get this thing done. I thank you for your support. I thank my family for their support. And again, we're going to create history, a very unique and special history with these two railroads together, never before possible without our combination. So with that said, I want to turn over the podium, and I'd be honored to have our friend and colleague, Mr. Pat Ottensmeyer, come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Keith, for those very kind words. This is really a bit overwhelming. You know, we've known that this day was going to occur for a long time, but now we're here. And this beautiful set behind us, these wonderful friends and family members, colleagues, community leaders. I knew this was going to be a special day coming down Front Street this morning about 6:30. This was truly one of the most magnificent sunrises I've ever seen. And I knew that this was going to be a great day, and that God was looking down on us and was going to create a wonderful setting for this very historic day and this very historic transaction and combination. Keith captured it all very well, and I won't repeat that, but I would like to take this moment to recognize and acknowledge all of the generations of Kansas City Southern leaders, railroaders, employees, many of you in the audience today who have contributed to having our company be at this moment, at this celebration. We've got a couple of our former leaders here with us today that I'd like to acknowledge. Mr. Mike Haverty, former president and CEO, whose fingerprints are all over our presence in Mexico. Mike, if it hadn't been for your tenacity and stubborn Irish will, I don't know that we would be here at this moment. Another one of our great leaders, Mr. Irv Hockaday. Irv, don't know, Irv's back there, former president and CEO of Kansas City Southern and great friend, and we thank you for all that you did in your time to contribute to the success of our company and make it possible for us to be here today. I want to also recognize one who's not here with us, and I'm probably going to get a little emotional with this, Mr. Dave Starling, great friend who passed away very unexpectedly just a few weeks ago. And Dave played such a role in getting us to this place, and Dave was genuinely excited to be part of this combination through his role as trustee of the voting trust. He's greatly missed. He was a great friend and a great man, and I want to acknowledge him. Keith, it was almost 3 years ago we had lunch together at the River Club here in Kansas City, probably less than 3 or 4 miles away. I don't think either one of us could have expected and predicted what the path was going to be to get to this day. And it certainly wouldn't have been the path that we had to traverse. And I will say, through all of this, one of the things that I was incredibly impressed with, and I know our board was impressed with, I know your board was impressed with, is your conviction that this was the right deal, a deal worth fighting for, a deal worth probably putting a lot of your reputational credibility on the line to get to this day. And I remember that conversation very well. And for any of you who really want a true description of what a challenge this has been, from that lunch through all the ups and downs of this deal to get to this point, just talk to Ginger or Deanne, who lived through the weekend board meetings and an emotional roller coaster that got us to this point. But I appreciate you making the comments. I will say, you know, to be the CEO of a company, this company, in that job, going through this process, this process that we went through, I took my job very seriously as a steward of the company, of our employees, of our communities, of our customers, and I did think about what was best for the company at this moment, and there was no doubt this was the best outcome that we could have achieved for our customers, certainly for our shareholders, and our shareholders in CPKC going forward. There's not another railroad that is going to have the presence and the network, and I'm sure the safety and service record and the leadership of the CEO. That is a huge consideration. This transaction put Kansas City Southern, our employees, our customers, our communities in the best possible end result. And we will break ground here shortly after the Golden Spike on a new facility that Keith has talked about that we're going to build here in Kansas City. The commitment to Kansas City, I think, is undoubtedly a very strong commitment. The U.S. headquarters, Keith, primary office, several other of the executive officers. You'll get to meet them if you haven't, and you'll see them around town. They're going to be here. And that is an important consideration. So as I speak to the Kansas City community leaders and representatives here, I can tell you that this company is in extremely good hands with the leadership of the company that's in place and the leadership of Keith Creel, who, in my opinion, without a doubt, and in the opinion of a lot of other people who are very close to the railroad industry, is the best railroad CEO at this moment. So you're in good hands. And it has really been a tremendous honor for me to be in this position and to be here on this day, this historic day, when we are putting together the first truly transnational built and transcontinental railroad something that railroaders have been trying to do for more than 150 years, and we're doing it today. And that is just so cool. I can't tell you what an honor it has been for me to be a part of this, and I think I speak for a lot of people in the Kansas City and Kansas City Southern community, for our company to be a part of this in a meaningful way going forward to create this history that we're about to create is just such a blessing. It's beyond words. I'd also like to be the first, I don't know if the mayor or some other folks are going to do this as well, but to invite Keith and Ginger to our community. They're going to be great people to have in our community. They're both delightful, honest, enjoyable people that I know are going to fit in very well with this community. So again, thank you all for being here, for your friendship, for your business, for your loyalty, and for being part of this incredible transaction and this incredible combination. Thank you.
Comments. I think it's only appropriate now, Pat, speaking of this beautiful city. This city has such a rich railroad history. Anybody that's been in the industry understands the importance, and I can tell you it's not getting any less important. It's becoming more important. So we're pleased today to welcome the 55th mayor of this great city to celebrate with us and to share a few words. So if I could invite Mayor Lucas to join us on the podium, please.
Good morning, everyone. It is wonderful to be with you. It is an honor to see some of my good friends here. And I will say, Keith and Ginger, the governor and I welcome you to a Chiefs game anytime. We are almost always there, and we look forward to having many more experiences with you along the way. The history of Kansas City is intertwined with Kansas City Southern. We were founded in 1850, and roughly 37 years later, Kansas City Southern was founded as one of our great companies. Since that time, through trying times and good ones, Kansas City Southern and Kansas City have grown together, and we are so excited to be part of the Canadian Pacific family. We're excited to spread our great culture, our great business, and the people of this region with so many more markets along the way. And we're excited to see your expansion, both as a Kansas City company, but also as a global company that is solving important issues for us here in America and throughout North America. A few things I want to say about some of the folks I've had the honor of working with over the years. Pat, Warren, whenever we have had to make a call, and I think that's the same for my predecessors, Congressman Cleaver, a former mayor, and so many others, Kansas City Southern has answered. If it's helping kids have a special experience during the holidays, if it's supporting numerous organizations in our city, you have always been there for us. I want to take one moment to thank you on behalf of generations of Kansas City children, families, and all of us for all that you have done. So in many ways, the timing is perfect. There's quite a bit of tension coming to Kansas City right now. In a few weeks, we'll have a number of very large NFL draft picks here in Kansas City to experience our city. In a few more years, World Cup soccer, and so many more experiences along the way. And I am proud when I speak to other mayors or businessmen from around the world, businesswomen as well, and they say, what are some of your best companies? What should we know about Kansas City? We get to say Canadian Pacific, Kansas City. We get to talk this brand, and we get to say that like we've been since our founding, Kansas City is at the heart of transportation, of shipping, and making sure that we're solving all of the issues that we need to in terms of getting people the supplies, the goods, the businesses, the jobs, everything that they need. Thank you for being part of Kansas City. Thank you for the century and a half of your investment in our community, and we look forward to many more years ahead. God bless you and have a fine day.
Warren had to put me back to work up here. Let me, before I introduce this next gentleman that's going to speak, I want to thank you, Administrator Bowes, for traveling from Washington, D.C. to come speak to us on this very momentous day. So it's my pleasure to invite the FRA Administrator, Meet Bowes, up to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. What a great day to be here in Kansas City. It's great to be here alongside Governor Parson, Chairman Graves, Congressman Cleaver, Senator Moran, and Mayor Lucas. I would also like to thank and recognize Canadian Pacific Kansas City Southern's team, Keith Creel, Pat Ottensmeyer. I am honored to join today's commemoration and historic combination of Kansas City Southern and Canadian Pacific. The first of its type in decades. What a historic moment. With President Biden's infrastructure law, this has been and continues to be an opportunity to build more and build better infrastructure while creating jobs, unlocking exciting new economic prospects for all. With $66 billion in rail funding available from the infrastructure law, we have an opportunity to modernize America's freight and passenger rail network, to grow a safer, cleaner, and more equitable rail system. Today is very much about safety, customer service, and rail industry growth. On that note, I want to recognize the importance of rail safety, which is at the forefront of CPKC's mind and has been FRA's top priority. Safety has to be prioritized across the entire railroad industry, not only following a preventable incident, but each and every day. And I know this company is committed to that. FRA and the Department of Transportation look forward to working with Canadian Pacific Kansas City Southern during the implementation, tracking, and monitoring of its safety integration plan. We know that Canadian Pacific Kansas City Southern takes its safety commitments seriously as it combines its safety cultures and operating systems. We encourage you to look at opportunities to improve safety even more by investing in training and support from railroad personnel, empowering those personnel, and implementing procedures that ensure safety. Again, FRA looks forward to working with you throughout this process, and we look forward to fostering an environment that continues to keep safety paramount. Congratulations on today's occasion.
Administrator, we'll take that challenge to heart, and I'm proud to say that the groundbreaking that we're going to do for the building we're building here will include a state-of-the-art training facility in it for our employees. So again, very, very meaningful words to this company. We won't let you down. All right, with that said, I'd like to invite lifelong Missourian and Chairman of the House Transportation Infrastructure Committee, Congressman Sam Graves, to say a few words.
Thanks, Keith. It's a pleasure to be here today. I can't tell you how important this merger is going to be for the entire region and for Kansas City. You know, when we consider legislation in the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, there's three things we really take a hard look at. Job creation, how it affects the economy, and what it does for transportation efficiencies. And if you take a look at this merger, it accomplishes all three. It's going to create hundreds of jobs. It's going to do wonders for transportation rail efficiency, and it's going to create potential competition for our shippers. So it's a triple win. It's good for everyone, and as has been pointed out already, we have obviously now have a rail line that runs through three different countries: Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And that's going to be incredibly impactful when it comes to rail efficiency, and that's particularly timely when we are suffering right now from supply chain issues and backups in freight movement. So this is particularly good. I like Keith. I hate to thank the regulators, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank the Surface Transportation Board for the timely or for the considerate and deliberate and positive look at this merger and then moving through it. This is going to be very big for consumers and for the entire region. It really is. So thanks for letting me be a part of it, Keith and Pat. Thanks for letting me be a part of this, Warren. I appreciate it very much, and thank you.
Last fall, I believe our next speaker described the KCS as one of the sparks that creates Kansas City. Congressman Cleaver, I'd be honored if you come up and share a few words.
Thank you very much. I was over here trembling with the thought that I might be introduced before the chairman of the Transportation Committee, Sam Graves. And had that happened, I was going to stay in my seat. I want you to know, Mr. Chairman, I was going to stay in my seat. I would never have gotten up before you. Earmark. Let me associate my comments with all of the speakers. This has been a fabulous experience. I appreciate allowing me to have been a part of some of the beginnings. I would also want to make sure that everybody in this community understand clearly that this is a big Freightliner deal, and we all ought to take great joy and pride at this merger. This is a good thing for Kansas City. Thank you very much.
And finally, a man that needs no introduction, I'd be honored to invite Governor Parson to come up and say a few words. And Governor, I can tell you, the long storied relationship and commitment that KCS has had with the good folks in Missouri, CPKC, will not only honor that, we'll build upon it.
Thank you very much. Man, what a great day to be in Kansas City. And I've been in front of a lot of backdrops, but I gotta say this is one of the coolest backdrops that I've been in front of. Two engines like that back there. And I can't tell you, there's a lot of dignitaries here, and I'll miss somebody if I start naming them, but the two congressmen, you guys are joking, having fun up here, but I just want to thank you personally how it's been for me to work with you as governor of the state of Missouri and what you're doing, and how lucky we are and fortunate we are to have both of you where you're at right now. It's going to be a great day for Missouri being able to use both of you up there to make this better. It's always good to be here with Frank. I see Frank's here, I see the lieutenant governor's here, representatives, all kinds of people here, mayor's here, and I thought I was going to get to mention the Kansas City Chiefs before he did. But I still have claim to the 57th Super Bowl as the 57th governor on that, so I want to be able to say that. So the importance of this merger, and I learned this from being governor now for several years, but because infrastructure and workforce development is such a key to this administration. But I have been to Israel, Dubai, Greece, Germany, Sweden, the Netherlands, the UK, Australia, you name it, where I'm trying to recruit people to Missouri. But let me tell you, one of the largest selling points that I have today is what's sitting right behind me today. When I get to talking about this merger on the world market, when people are wanting to come to our state and to invest, and when you can say you'll have the only continuous rail in North America and to be a partner with Canada and Mexico, nowhere else can anybody say that in the United States, and the headquarters are going to be in Kansas City, Missouri. And Kansas City, I'm just telling you, you have so much going on right now. A new airport, the Buck O'Neill Bridge, the expansions that are coming to Kansas City, the opportunities are unreal right now. We just got back from a European trip, and you'll have more coming that I'm not supposed to say anything about, but you will have more coming your way in the very near future. But I'm telling you, it's things like this that make a difference. And as a governor of the state of Missouri, it's pretty proud to stand up here on the stage, see the American flag, the Canadian flag, and the Mexican flag flying up here about doing something together instead of all the divisive stuff that we see all the time. This is what really matters. This is about making things better for everyday people. It's about jobs, it's about opportunity, it's about the economy, and no matter where you are in the spectrum, we all care about those things right there. I appreciate the federal government for what their hand is in this, doing what they do every day, and I just appreciate everybody being out here today. This is, I think, as Congressman Cleaver said, a big, big deal, whoever said that. So it's an honor and privilege to be the 57th governor. Always great to be in Kansas City, especially on days like today. Thank you for having me here. God bless.
I'm also pleased to announce that Congressman offered to join us. If I could invite him to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, I just flew in from California. We had some exciting things going on out there. As a member of the House Armed Services Committee, we got to see the B-21 being built actually out there. This is going to be at Whiteman Air Force Base. And also some naval assets that we're building out there as we get ready for potentially what comes our way in the next couple of years. But so it's exciting to be back here. You know, I was here in the television market for 24 years, and Kansas City Southern had been such a solid part of this community for so long, and we've done so many great stories on their contributions to our community and our state and our country. I'm just honored to be here today to work with Congressman Graves and Congressman Cleaver together to make not just this district, not just Sam's district, not just the 4th Congressional District, but this region strong, this state strong, working along with the governor and Mayor Lucas here to make sure that we are ready for the future, whatever comes our way. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the future, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Okay, now I think it's time for us to do what we came here to do, which is drive that final spike. So if I could, we're going to bring these two great railroads together. I want to invite everyone to gather around to join us for this historic moment. It'll be to my right and your left of the stage.
We're gonna, if you can stand right here, sir.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's good right now. And yours.
Right here. I'll be right over the shoulder. I'll pull you back.
We're gonna put you in. Come this way, please. Okay. We are going to.
How wide is your
no, you guys are perfect there. You guys are absolutely perfect.
Are we in it or out of it?
You guys are in it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
No cell phones. We're going to be looking at Mr. Creel driving the final spike while
Tom, if this spike doesn't drop all the way in when I sit it in, I'm going to be upset with you. Okay, ready?
Absolutely no mic, sir. Absolutely not. Not even by his head, sir. Thank you.
All right, let's put that down.
No cell phones, please.
Bill, I didn't mean that, really.
Cell phones out of the picture.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go. There it is. Here we go.
Absolutely perfect, everybody. You guys are doing great. And we can go. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
Okay, thank you. So now, Pat?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Groundbreaking.
You wanted multiple photos? Now's the time.
Yeah, anybody else?
Please. Yeah, let's get in there.
Okay, what do we need to help them with? Like, are they just grabbing them? I would hand them to them.
Okay, a morning of celebration. But I'll tell you, as I said, I like to get to work. So today, we said that we're here to stay. This isn't less prominence in Kansas City, it's more, and it starts today with this commitment. This commitment to the city, this commitment to this world-class, best North American network, North American railroad, U.S. operations headquartered right here in Kansas City on the ground that we stand on. With that said, I'd like to invite the mayor, the governor, congressman. We have Edward Merriman's here as well, and we're honored to have our chair of CPKC, Mrs. Isabel Corvell, to come up for a photo opportunity as we break ground for this new facility. Mayor, after we break ground, I'd like for you to say a few words, if you would.
Thank you, thank you.
Glad I didn't. Anyways, this is like strictly build up.
Patrick, shovels in. Oh,
Be a good idea.
Now, I don't know why they're letting me talk instead of all these good gentlemen behind us. I want to say thank you to everybody who's going to be working here for Canadian Pacific, Kansas City Southern. I want to say you want me?
gentlemen and lady.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Gentlemen and lady who are all here today, I want to say thank you to everybody who's here today, who will be working with Canadian Pacific, Kansas City Southern, and who will keep this great history of Kansas City Southern with Canadian Pacific going for years and years. I particularly want to thank our business partners here. We appreciate you. We thank you. We're here to help. And more than anything, we look forward to more success over the years ahead. God bless you. Good luck. Let's all get to work. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our groundbreaking and last spike ceremony. We'd like to invite everyone to join us in the tent for some hospitality, and thank you again for joining us for this historic day.
How or